Warrior, welcome. Today is all about diving deep into anxiety symptoms. Because if you look around the anxiety world today, what is the very thing? The very thing that is becoming more and more common in this world that is leading someone down the path of thinking that they're going to live a short life or a distressing life or a fearful and catastrophic life. It is the bodily symptoms that people feel. Now, bodily symptoms can show up all of a sudden, right? Out of the blue. You start to feel something rising in your stomach, or you start to feel something in your head area. And then you have those lingering symptoms that tend to stick around for long periods of time. Symptoms such as dizziness and depersonalization. And with these symptoms come a lot of mental symptoms as well. So catastrophizing constantly, giving tons of respect and entertaining intrusive thoughts. But today I want to talk more so about the physical symptoms. And there are terms going around the anxiety world from coaches and therapists and such. The term is you have to face your symptoms. You have to face your bodily symptoms of anxiety in order for them to go away. Okay, I understand that, but the problem I have when people bring those terms to the present moment is they don't really tell us in depth what that means. What does it mean to face a symptom? What does that mean? Well, what it means is a combination of different things, which I want to go into today. Because when you can fully understand how to face your symptoms and what that truly means at a deeper level, then you're going to know what to do. You're going to know what to do in those moments, those 5, 10, 15-second moments right after a symptom arises that gets your conscious mind's attention. And to tell you the truth, that responding, the way of responding to that symptom within that time frame, combined with reframing your past emotional traumas that were stored in your mind and body from when you were a child, is the combination, is the pairing. Responding in the moment, reframing the past is the pairing, the tag team that will get you in time to a much better place. So facing your symptoms of anxiety means this. First of all, it means the mental side of things. And what does that mean as far as the mental side of things? It means to become curious as to why you're feeling the symptoms, the curiosity, and disinterested over the idea connected to the symptom. Now, if we can do these things, if we can become curious and ask ourselves some questions in the moment of that symptom, what's going to happen is we're going to go in a completely different direction. We're going to find that our symptoms begin to subside in a short amount of time when we can replace franticness with curiosity. And so these questions start to arise and we start to go, well, what brought on this symptom, right? What sort of thinking style throughout the entire day have I accepted and I've played out to bring out this bodily symptom? What future event am I consciously and unconsciously thinking about that's bringing up this physical symptom? These are great questions, but the problem with anxiety as a whole is we ask ourselves the wrong questions. We ask ourselves questions like, am I going to die from this, right? What are people going to think when they see me with these symptoms, right? Am I going to be able to keep my job if I continue to feel this way? And so the answers are always based around answers that continue to fuel this catastrophic nature that you've inherited and you've created habits around. So our goal as far as facing the bodily symptom is to first become curious, and secondly, to not work on eliminating the symptom. This is vital. not to eliminate the symptom and not to eliminate the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts that come with the symptom. Our job is to become more and more disinterested by the symptom and by the thought as time goes on. Notice the difference now in approach. Notice the difference in responding to that bodily symptom. So that's the mental side of things as far as facing the symptom. Then comes the emotional side of things. When you talk about facing the symptom, the emotional component is everything, right? And this means to eliminate distraction actions, and allow neutralness and riding the wave, which eventually leads to pleasant feelings to show up. Distraction actions, right? Oh my goodness, if I listen to this podcast or a video, 8,000 times throughout this day, maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll make the symptoms go away, right? No, that's a distraction action. If I go and talk to somebody, right here, right now, while my symptom's going on and I distract myself, maybe it'll go away. No. If I go on Google and I search my symptoms or whatever it may be, I may distract myself enough to the point where the symptom actually goes away long term. No. Making yourself feel better through reassurance does not help, period. But what does help is eliminating, first recognizing, and then eliminating the distraction actions. Ask yourself and comment below, what sort of distraction actions do I partake in? Do I act on in moments of distress? Very important. And our job is to turn from being reactors to being observers. I mean, think about it. If you observe something for long periods of time, what starts to happen? Well, it connects to the mental side. You become disinterested, right? If I'm sitting there looking at paint dry, right, for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm looking at the paint dry, and I'm doing all I can to be interested, but deep down I'm going, this is pretty boring, and I'm becoming disinterested. What's going to happen? Am I going to continue looking at the paint drying? No. I'm going to begin focusing on something completely different. My self-growth, development, whatever it may be, right? So emotionally, that is our goal, okay? Then facing your symptoms of anxiety also means behaviorally facing your symptoms, which means to act out of line with your normal reactions, to act out of line with your normal reactions. And this means slowly and compassionately and with the inner child in mind. I tell people this all the time. As you go about the day, your general mindset should be of that you are responding to the inner wounded child within you. That inner child has gone through traumatic events, has gone through a life of stress, and feels like it needs to implement the addiction to control and the addiction to suffering to feel like themselves. So as we go about the day, our biggest goal is to provide safety, constant safety, whether it be the situation or the place or whatever it may be. Safety as far as this world, as far as this situation. That's the mindset that you should be taking. So behaviorally, what we want to do is we want to begin acting out of line with our normal reactions to things, especially our bodily symptoms. And if you think about it, and if we go even deeper, you're going to find very quickly that you begin slowly acting in opposing ways to how you normally act. And I'll tell you something in the beginning. It's going to be uncomfortable. In fact, very uncomfortable. Every part of you, from your mind, your emotions, to your physical symptoms, to your imagination, will tell you, what the heck are you doing? Right? That doesn't help our survival by you acting in an opposing way. What starts to happen over time is that the nervous system begins to shift itself. It begins to feel like this present situation has a different meaning attached to it. And when that happens, when you consistently act in opposing manners, what starts to happen is you begin to shift yourself. Your identity begins to change. It's literally going from thinking that you are a football player, anxiety, to being a tennis player, freedom. That's literally what's happening here. The fourth thing that we have to make sure that we're aware of when we're facing our symptoms is the imaginative side of things. And what this means is a lot of anxiety sufferers go about their days and they really start their days off this way. They start their days off unconsciously imagining the worst possible scenario. You're not aware of it, but with every thought that you give plenty of attention to comes pictures in your head, comes movies in your head. All of a sudden, those pictures and movies are connected to past pictures and movies where you had traumatic experiences. So our goal when we face our symptoms is to begin creating or being creative in terms of our visualization and consciously imagining a better future rather than unconsciously imagining the worst possible scenario. It makes sense, doesn't it? Because what do you act on? You act on the pictures in your head. You act on the feelings in your body. So what starts to happen when you start to change and rearrange those pictures? And all of a sudden I wake up in the morning and I'm going, my goodness, I can't wait for an anxious moment to show up today because I've changed my interpretation to those moments. It's no longer a trigger, it's a challenge, and I move past it in this way. I see things this way, I hear things this way, I feel things this way. All of a sudden you've planted the seed of what's going to take place throughout the day. When you do this enough times, watch what starts to happen. And finally, when it comes to getting to a place where we actually know what it means to face our symptoms, it's verbally. And verbally means to speak up about the neutralness and positives about the environment and the situations. You begin speaking to other people about what you find pleasant about this present situation. Hey, Tim, man, I love your hairdo, really. Where'd you get it cut? Oh yeah? Maybe I'll book an appointment. Oh wow, all these people here, right? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people to meet here, isn't there? Wow, look at that person's dress over there. My God, the food smells so good. Do they have a dance floor? Right? All of a sudden, when you begin to speak out of line with your anxious identity and in line with your freedom identity, what starts to happen is you start to perceive everything in the outside world differently, number one, and you start to perceive everything on the inside differently. That's why you see people begin to shift their perceptions over their anxiety. You can either see it as being anxious or energetic. You can see it as being fearful or excited. The choice is yours because the same part of the brain takes care of both fear and excitement. So it's your choice to perceive the external environment differently and eventually to perceive the bodily sensations differently as well. Warriors, remember this. Moving towards your symptoms of anxiety opens up new perspectives about your reality and your future and your life. When these new perspectives start to show up, with that comes memories from the past that you can use this video to reframe. And when you reframe, renegotiate what took place in the past, all of a sudden your present body, your present mind, your present emotions, your present images start to shift. I've seen it over and over and over again. So, with this video, I hope you've gained a deeper understanding as to how to face your symptoms of anxiety. your bodily symptoms of anxiety. And I want you to comment below and let me know what you gained. What insight, what clarity did you gain from this video? Because it's really important to always write down your moments of clarity as you get those aha moments throughout the day. Write them down, spend time around them, because where your focus goes is where the emotional charge goes as well. So focus on the right things. If you have any other questions on the End the Anxiety program or the Life Mastery program, head on over to this website right here. Love you all. Have a wonderful day.